GameStop employees of Reddit, what are some of your horror stories? Had a couple come in to return a Sesame Street video game and a controller. They had a receipt from over a year ago. The game was scratched to hell and the controller was full of dried soda. They said it didn't work anymore. Shocker. And were furious when I wouldn't give them their money back. Like standing there screaming at me. I was the manager, so I had no one else there to back me up. It was crazy. Their kid was bawling. The lady was swearing like a syphilitic sailor and the husband couldn't finish a sentence. Pretty sure they were both super high too. So that was fun. When the PS2 came out I was assistant manager and my manager would sell them out of the back room at a markup. Such a snake. I took the demo's box home with a copy of Halo before the system launched one night and had a 4-player all-night party. One of our other local stores had someone dig through the outside wall and steal everything out of their back room. Also, when you get done alphabetizing the Wii games and notice your hands are covered in mystery sticky stuff from all of the filthy children handling the cases. That was pretty gross. One time a woman screamed at me because her kid was tearing open a toy before paying for it, and I kindly told him to wait a little bit. She seemed on the fence on whether she wanted to buy the toy or not for her kid, so you know I wasn't glad that her kid was already ripping it open. She then proceeded to scream at me for being really awful with kids, a horrible person, bad at my job, etc. Also, she wanted to complain to the manager if I ever talked to her kid like that again. She then angrily paid and walked out of the store. Also, people tinkering / modding their console and then trying to return it because it doesn't work anymore and angrily insisting on having it bought that way in GameStop. Worked at GS a long time ago, but I'll never forget this one. One night a guy brought in a really dusty and dirty GameCube wanting cash, of course. I asked him if it worked and he said he didn't know because he hadn't played it in a long time. I told him that we have to check every console, and when I turned it on and opened the lip, about 100 roaches came running out all over the counter. Did it work though? Opening it removed all of the bugs, so it must have worked. Worked part-time at GameStop while I was in college. The best story I love to tell is a mom and son story. 40-ish mom and 10-ish boy come into the store in a large strip mall with lots of stores. Don't even look at merchandise. Come up to the counter and ask to let the kid use the bathroom. Clarified she's not there to buy anything but has spent thousands of dollars in our store previously. We politely tell her we can't let customers use our bathroom because it's in the back of the store with lots of high-priced merchandise. That's the policy. We have cameras and corporate reviews the footage. Another story I have where I was wrongfully terminated substantiates that one. Additionally, what we don't tell her is that all the used game consoles that people sell back to us were stored in the bathroom. There was 1 month prior to Christmas I had to do some impressive yoga to get to the toilet. I'm sure those consoles were a hazmat, but I digress. But, not to be unsympathetic to this kid's plight, we tell the mom that the pizza place next door lets people use their bathroom if they buy something, and the cheapest thing is a $1 soda / bottle of water. She starts flipping out on us and spewing expletives, telling us she's paid our salaries 10 times over and that we are going to hell, yada yada yada. Then, no joke, tells her son to just go. Kid actually unzips and pees all over the carpet in front of my register. Then they left. I've never been so grossed out and dumbfounded. Had to close up for the day and half the next day while GameStop paid to have our carpets sanitized. Resulted in a loss of pay for the weekend. Wonder what happened to that kid. He's gotta be in his 20s by now. My first job was at GameStop, early 2000s. I stayed for about 4 years from when I was 17 to 21. Started as a part-timer and ended up as a shift supervisor, then boyfriend, later husband, now ex-husband, was our store manager for a while. The point is I have seen some shit. My favorite one It is a weekday afternoon, so we are slow and short staffed. It's just the two of us, my boyfriend and I, and maybe a customer or two. Someone is playing the Guitar Hero demo. Someone is browsing the wall door jingles, and in walks a guy with a huge backpack. I give the customary greeting, "Hey, welcome in, let us know if you need anything," and he doesn't acknowledge or respond. I shrug to my boyfriend, "Go back to cleaning discs or stripping cases, or whatever." The guy looks around for a few minutes and we think nothing of it. Finally he comes up to my boyfriend and gestures for the stack of post-its he's using to label games we're putting in the disc buffing machine. Boyfriend obliges. Guy says nothing, just writes on the post-it. He puts it on the counter in full view of both of us, and in all capital letters is the following message: "I have gun. Give money?" Boyfriend and I turn sheet white and realize we are being robbed, and this guy has a gun in his giant backpack. We are teenagers with no manager and no silent alarm under the desk, and we are fucking terrified. The guy's already putting down the backpack and unzipping it. The other customers are totally unaware and off doing their own thing, and we are going to get murdered in a Gamestop at 1 PM on a Tuesday over the $100 we have in our tiny ass till in the safe. Neither of us have the combo for. He reaches in the backpack and withdraws a light gun for a Sega Dreamcast. Turns out this guy is deaf and wants to sell us a fucking light gun. Former employee. 2 wonderful stories. 1. Older lady brings in a bag. She looks like an addict and she wants to sell her weed. I put my hand in the bag and it's soaking wet cat piss. She was furious I wouldn't take it. From that day forward, made every customer take all trades out of bags themselves. 2. My first store was long, and I had a kid and mom in back. Mom wasn't paying attention at all. 8-year-old walking around. Gets really quiet. Then mom rushes the kid out of the store. Go back there, and he took a shit on the floor. Watch the tape. Mom finds him squatting. Lets him finish, then takes him out. I worked in a store where theft was a very common occurrence. But this one dude, he nabbed one of the cheap controllers off the wall from the back of the store, puts it in his backpack, then comes over to the counter. He reaches across the counter, opens a drawer and steals a brand new game out of the drawer, takes it away from the register, opens it, waits in line, trades the game in for $25. Then he asks me to look for something in one of the bottom drawers, and he steals back the game he just traded in a second time. After that he immediately left the store before I could notice he was gone. I gotta give him credit, he had some slick balls. So many other sketchy things too, but this one I just had to laugh at. Come in all the time to ask about / buy obscure Vita dating sims and asking inappropriate questions like if the next Dragon Age, at this time World Bean Inquisition, was going to finally have sex scenes in it. Next one is New Year's Day. Miserable, I'm working already. It's super early and first customer of the day, of the whole year, is this like 7-foot tall guy who comes in asking for AV cables for a PS4 cause the one he just bought didn't have one. We immediately tell him the PS4 only uses HDMI, and so it wouldn't have AV cables, even confirming with him, "You mean those red, yellow, and white cables?" He started getting mad and asks again for the cables, which we again tell him don't exist. Maybe there's an adapter or something, but I've never seen one, and we don't have them here regardless. Maybe check Best Buy. Guy immediately starts screaming, "You racist motherfuckers, get me this cable. I'm homeless. I just bought this thing for my grandkids. You're all racist white devil fuckers." Thankfully I froze in fear and confusion, and my boss took over and just scooted the guy out the door. Hell of a way to start the year. Some lady called me a big fat tortilla